Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon wherever you are. Today you'll be taught by Ramapala Khotso, Ramapala K, okay, known as Mr. Euclid. Alright, so we are going to be doing grade 11 life sciences. We are going to be dealing with the topic of biodiversity and classification of microorganisms. You can see different types of microorganisms over here, right? So we see that living organisms are divided into 5 kingdoms known as kingdom Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. All living organisms are classified into 2 groups according to their cell structure, known as the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. Oh, prokaryotes do not have a true nucleus. Eukaryotes have a true nucleus, right? So in this instance, our prokaryotes will be kingdom Monera, and eukaryotes will be Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. So we are going to start with the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes over here, right? So prokaryotes are organisms without a true nucleus. DNA is not enclosed by a nuclear membrane and occurs freely in the cytoplasm. The membrane-bound organelles are absent. And we come to the eukaryotes. Eukaryotes organisms have true nucleus. DNA is enclosed by a nuclear membrane inside the nucleus. Oh, that's great. DNA. You'll learn more about DNA, the code of life, in grade 12. So we have membrane-bound organelles occur in the cytoplasms, right? In the eukaryotes. Therefore, we come to the microorganisms, right? They are so small and cannot be seen in naked eye, can only be seen with the help of a microscope. Several groups of organisms include viruses, bacteria, protista, and fungi, right? Microorganisms are the most abundant organisms on Earth and are found in huge numbers in every environment. Most are harmless to plants and animals. Some causes disease and are known as pathogens. So what are pathogens? Pathogens are disease-causing microorganisms, right? So most pathogens are parasites and live in or on other organisms. Oh, it means we have parasites somewhere, somehow, which are pathogens. All viruses and some bacteria, protists, fungi, and are pathogenic in nature. Oh, you know that viruses are pathogenic. Oh, some bacteria, protists, and fungi, they are pathogenic. But viruses we do not discuss. They are what? They are pathogenic, right? So they are difficult to classify, the viruses, and are not placed under any of the 5 kingdoms. Viruses have properties on both non-living particles as well as living organisms. They are dormant, which means they are inactive, outside a living cell. However, they only reproduce inside. It means that when they are outside, they are not active. Cells of living organisms, okay, when they are inside the cells of living organisms, they are what? They reproduce. They are acellular or have no cell and are therefore not classified as prokaryotes or eukaryotes. Okay, the general characteristics of viruses. Viruses are parasites, right? It means organisms that lives on the living cells or material and causes harm. They host specific, while some tissues specific, e.g. such as poliovirus that only infect cells or nerve tissues. They are pathogens and cause disease in plants and animals. Example, tobacco mosaic virus in plants, AIDS, cold, flu, rabies, measles, polios, etc. Right? So viruses reproduce by converting the genetic material. Genetic material, we're talking about the deoxyribonucleic acid and the ribonucleic acid. So the viruses reproduce by converting the genetic material of the host cells into viral nucleic acid so that new viruses can be produced. We have the basic structures of viruses. Viruses are very small, 20 nanometers to 40 nanometers in diameter, and simple in composition. They contain DNA or RNA, never both, right? They are acellular and have no nucleus, cytoplasm, or organelles. Viruses can infect plant, animals, and bacteria cells. A virus that infects bacterial cells is called bacteriophage. The shape of viruses varies from rod-shaped, spherical, to more complex shape. You see spherical over here. Therefore, we have the structure of what? The structure of this. We have the structure of the viruses. Over here, we have the influenza virus. It contains the RNA. It has the protein spikes. It has the capsid, the envelope, and this bacteriophage has the head, the DNA, the neck, the tail fiber, and also the base part. But we know that the things that are similar in all viruses is the genetic material, either the RNA or the DNA, right? Over here we have also the generalized structures of these viruses. There they are, right? So we have bacteria. These are the smallest and simplest living organisms. They occur in almost any imaginable habit on Earth. Some live in the presence of oxygens, which are the aerobic bacteria. Others live in the absence of oxygen, which is the anaerobic bacteria. Some are pathogenic and cause disease. Example for cholera, tuberculosis, and anthrax. What are the general characteristics of bacteria? Bacteria are unicellular. They have no true nucleus. It means they are prokaryotic. Some are autotrophic. It means they produce their own organic substance or food by photosynthesis or chemosynthesis. Majority are heterotrophic, and they cannot produce their own organic substances. We have three types of heterotrophic bacteria, which are the parasitic bacteria, obtain food from living organisms, saprophytic bacteria, obtain food from dead organic material, and mutualistic bacteria, obtain food from both from symbiotic relationship with another organism. Both benefit in relationship. Symbiotic relationship, we mean that both organisms benefit, but we have parasitic relationship, which means that you are a parasite Wangela. You eat mine, I don't eat yours, or I eat yours, you don't eat mine. Reproduction in bacteria occurs asexually by binary fission, where cells divide into two identical cells or same DNA. The basic structure of bacteria. Bacteria are unicellular and occur as single cells, filaments, or colonies. Bacterium cells is surrounded by a cell wall that consists of polysaccharides, proteins, and lipids. In some bacteria, the cell's wall is surrounded by a slime layer or capsule which protect the bacteria cell from desiccation and enemies. Plasma or cell membrane, which encloses the cytoplasm, occurs directly below the cell wall. The cytoplasm has no membrane-bound organelles such as vacuoles, plastids, mitochondria, etc. Right? But ribosome do not occur. True nucleus is absent, prokaryotic, remember. Genetic material is DNA, is concentrated in the chromatid body. Some bacteria move in liquid by means of flagella. This is the bacteria. It has a flagellum, the plasmid, the nucleoid which contains DNA, the cytoplasm. These are the pillars, the ribosome. You see the ribosome. We have the capsule. We have the cell wall, the plasma membrane. You see, this is the bacteria, the simplest of them all. It has the spherical, the rod shape, and the spiral. Right, it occurs in various shapes. These are the shapes. Right, you need to know the bacteria, that you need to know that this bacteria, you see, this bacteria contains this. You need to know this. You need to know it. Right, you need to know these kind of things. Right, so we move. Right, we move. We now come to protist. The protist, they include mostly unicellular organisms that do not fit in any other kingdom. It is the kingdom with the greatest diversity, with over 200,000 known species. Protists are difficult, right? They are difficult. And let's continue. Protists are difficult to classify due to what? Due to a large variety of organisms with different, large variety of organisms with different modes of nutrition, mechanisms of locomotion, cell covering, and life cycles. Protists are divided into three main groups, which is the protozoa, animal-like unicellular heterotrophic organisms such as amoeba, paramecium, and plasmodium. Then we have the algae, plant-like unicellular or multicellular. It is autotrophic. These are autotrophic organisms. Microscopic and multicellular red, brown and green algae, microscopic and unicellular diatoms. Right. So we have slime and water mold also. We have fungus-like. These are fungus-like, multicellular, heterotrophic, and heterotrophic microorganisms. These are the amoeba, slime mold, diatom, paramecium, and all of them. Right. So we have the general characteristics of the protist. Right. All protists have true nuclei, which means they are eukaryotic. Some are unicellular and microscopically small. Others are simple multicellular organisms that show a primitive level of cell differentiation and specialization. Algae are autotrophic, while other protists are heterotrophic. Reproduction is mostly asexual, which means binary fission. However, some algae do not reproduce sexually, do reproduce sexually. Right. Protists live in most any environment where water occurs, as most protists are aquatic. Right. So we have the basic structure of protist. Right. On the basic structure of protist, protists are what? Are unicellular or multicellular. Algae can photosynthesize because of presence of chloroplast in their cells. Various locomotory structure. Okay. Right. Plasmodia, amoeba, cilia, paramecium, flagella, euglena, and dinoflagellate. Right. So protozoa ingest their food by phagocytosis. Right. Phagocytosis. And cell wall composition varies in plants. Like protists, green algae have cellulose cell wall. Diatoms have cell walls of silica. Right. Fungi, they are divided into two main groups, which are macroscopic fungi and microscopic fungi. There they are, you see them. Some parts may be seen with the naked eye, but others are microscopic. General characteristic. Yeast. Okay, we now come to the general characteristics of this. Right. We come to the general characteristics of the fungi. Right. So yeast are unicellular, while mushrooms and molds are multicellular. All fungi have true nuclei, which means they are eukaryotic. All fungi have cell walls made up of chitin. All fungi consist of a mass of branched filaments or hyphae. As you can see from over here, you can pause the video to see this full, all of them, these ones. You can pause them so that you can see these general characteristics of the what? The fungi, right? You can see them, all of them, right? You can see them. Apologies, just highlighting. Yes, you can see them, this ones. You can look at them. Yeah, this ones, this the highlighted ones, right? So the characteristics of fungi. Then let's go to the other one. Oh, here are the So over here we are on the management of HIV or AIDS, right? How to manage HIV or AIDS. Testing, treatment. Currently there's no cure, sorry for that. You may use ARVs. Healthy diet and vitamin and mineral supplements are important. Treatment of common and opportunistic infections. Prevention. Avoid sexual intercourse. Oh, can you avoid sexual intercourse? Can you avoid it? Have only faithful, long-term HIV negative sexual partner. Practice protected safe. Oh, I agree with this one. You may use the condom, right? Even though it is not 100% safe. Treat other STD. Avoid direct contact with blood. Avoid alcohol and drug abuse, right? So we now come to tuberculosis. Tuberculosis, same thing. Infections. We have infections over here, right? We have infections. It is infectious disease caused by Microbacterium tuberculosis. It only affects the lungs. It only affects the lungs, but it can also affect other organ in the body. A person infected with the disease releases bacteria with the air coughing by coughing by coughing or sneezing, even spitting, right? So these infected droplets may be inhaled and the bacteria are thus transmitted to another person. And they say that TB is poverty-related disease because they cannot take care of themselves, especially in poor communities. Then we have the effects on the human body, the symptoms such as constant cough, tiredness and fatigue, loss of weight, night sweat, chest pain, coughing up blood in saliva or mucus. Then we have the effects on family and community. Then we have the management of TB. You can treat. This treatment involves aggressive course of antibiotics over 6 months. You may prevent it, right? This is the prevention. People must be educated and well informed about the spread of HIV. Treatment of patients. Drug must begin directly after diagnosis to prevent the spread of TB. Healthcare workers who work with TB patients must be well informed about the risk of becoming infected, right? Even this one, every baby must be vaccinated. And we have drug-resistant TB. Oh, TB bacteria that are drug resistant do not respond to medication. The resistance is largely due to badly managed TB care and the incorrect use of anti-TB drugs. Multi-drug resistance TB requires long-term chemotherapy involving very expensive medication and will only cure 50% of patients. These treatments are also very much more expensive than the treatment for normal TB. TB and HIV. TB is the most common opportunistic infection and causes death for many HIV plus patient. If a HIV plus person develops active TB, the progression of final stage of AIDS occurs much faster. TB and HIV or AIDS are a deadly combination that one accelerates the other. Oh, it means TB and HIV or AIDS are directly proportional. Then we have malaria. We need to know this plus that, the Plasmodium, the genus. You need to know that the female Anopheles mosquito is the one that transmits it, and the blood contains malaria parasite. The Anopheles mosquito, you need to know this, right? Is the primary host as well as the vector. It is the one that suck the blood and spread the blood, right? Effect of the malaria, it is this one. The parasite moves the downstream, right? So symptoms such as fever, headache, shivering, joint pain, vomiting, convulsions, right? So these are them. Then we have the management, such as the treatment, including elimination of vector mosquitoes, using mosquito net. You see, those kind of things you need to know. These treatments, you need to know them. Then we have the immunity, immune response, immunity. Oh, immunity. Let's pause a little so that you can see the immunity part, right? Let's pause a little. You will just read the immunity part. So immune response is the way in which an organism protects itself against pathogenic virus, bacteria, protozoa, or fungi. The immune system must be able to determine what belongs to the body as opposed to what is foreign to the body. Immune response is divided into two categories known as the natural immunity and the acquired immunity. This one is present at birth. This one is developed through the exposure of pathogens. Natural immunity is the first line of defense against pathogens that infiltrates the body. It is not aimed at one specific type of pathogen but able to destroy different pathogens. If the pathogen penetrates the first line of defense, the acquired immune will be activated. So we have immune response in animals, humans. Humans have both natural and acquired immunity. Natural immunity is external barrier that prevents harmful substances from entering the body. You can say it like that. First line defense, right? The skin, coughing and sneezing reflexes, washing actions or tears, mucus secreted by the respiratory tract to trap microorganisms. That is the first line defense. Second line, we have the fever. This one increasing the body temperature and inflammations. Then we now come to acquired immunity. It may be classified into two ways according to a method in which immunity is obtained. It may be obtained as natural acquired immunity and artificial acquired immunity. Then we have the antigens, right? The antigens preventing, you see, they just prevent. The white blood cells, the leukocyte, you see, there are two types of leukocyte. We have lymphocyte, B and T lymphocyte, which occurs in the lymph gland, spleen, and blood. We have the phagocyte, which are large white blood cells that can change shape and are produced in red marrow bone. We have the B lymphocytes. You see, these are there. This is what we were seeing over there. That was discussed over there. You see, no much things. Okay, here is this. You see, you may see the phagocytes. Okay. And then we have the role of phagocyte during the immune response, right? This is the role over here. This is going to be the role, right? Sorry. This is the role of phagocyte during immune response, right? Newly formed B lymphocyte produce antibodies that are released into the blood plasma. The CD4 cells are another type of T lymphocyte which helps other lymphocyte by initiating immune response, right? Therefore, so forth and so forth. Continue. Immune and vaccine. Oh, these are the two different things which need to be known, right? They need to be known. A vaccine is usually made up of dead and weakened form of pathogens that causes the disease. Now we come to biotechnology. Biotechnology is the use of living organisms or biological system in the industrial process. This includes the production of antibiotics, production of insulin, and production of foods. Then we have antibiotics, right? Antibiotics over here. This kill bacteria by destroying the structure of the bacterium, right? Okay, bacteria may develop resistance to certain antibiotic. Okay, let's continue. Bacteria may develop resistance to certain antibiotic through mutation. Reasons may be incorrect treatment, right? Incorrect treatment, unnecessary use of antibiotics, unnecessary use of antibiotics. Don't use antibiotics when they are not needed. Don't use them. You see, over here we have a displaced antibiotic resistant. You see, these are the steps. Over here are the questions in which you will reflect. You see, here are the questions. We know that viruses are parasitic, right? Viruses are parasitic. You see, here are the questions. These are from the past papers. Here over here is just the structure of how the question paper can come up. How, you see, there's the structure of the question paper. Question 5. Oh, wow. You see, here we have the flagellum, right? Good. And yes, this will be the end of the questions. You see, this will be the end of the questions. Let's just take a review of the question paper, the way it might come up. How, see, it starts with the multiple choice, followed by the one statement, followed by the bacteria. Over here you answer by A only, B only, or both A and B. You see, over here is the long questions, and we are fine. Thank you for listening. Hope you have understood the biodiversity and classification of microorganisms. Continue having a good day, having a good night, and ke a leboha. Thank you, Nyabonga, and Doreboa, via Dankir. Thank you.